relative gave her an antique cup as a gift. One thing led to another and another and another. Even though Turkey is famous for both its coffee and its special cups used to serve it, the collection does include cups from several other countries. Some of the cups are over 100 years old. I guess that's like anything. You start collecting?
Yeah.
I'm like refrigerator magnets.
That's a place I need to see, being the coffee lover that I am. That's great.
That's right. Go through
Just keep my dog out of there.
Yeah, keep Tate the dog out of there. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching and hope to see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, a reminder from officers after police arrest several teens accused of stealing vehicles here in Dane County.
Bridge construction in the heart of downtown Janesville faces more delays. What this means for businesses in that area.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. This just in from the Channel 3000 Alert Center. President Trump has announced he has abandoned an effort to put citizenship on the census. He will instead pursue other ways to get data.
President Trump says he is ordering every federal department and agency to provide the Commerce Department with all records that it requests pertaining to the number of citizens and non-citizens in the country. The president says he will sign an executive order to put this plan into effect immediately. President Trump's plan to include a citizenship question on the 2020 census was thwarted by a recent Supreme Court ruling on legal challenges to that effort. A Madison man is facing a tentative possession of child pornography charge after a SWAT team searched his home today. Madison police say the SWAT team searched the resident in the 3200 block of Stevens Street at 7 o'clock this morning. 25-year-old Tyler Clark was booked into the Dane County Jail. Clark's arrest is part of an ongoing investigation being conducted by the department's Special Victims Unit. Madison police say the investigation is open and more charges could be forthcoming.
Well, UW-Madison police are reminding people tonight about the importance of locking your vehicles and also securing your homes.
They arrested a 15-year-old driver and a 17-year-old passenger after officers say they led them on a chase near campus in a stolen car. A third suspect is still on the loose. Our Rose Schmidt is here to explain what led up to this incident. Rose.
Yes, well, UW-Madison police say these teens are some of the same suspects that are involved in a number of similar crimes with stolen cars. And they're also suspected to be involved in a home invasion this week. Yesterday after 7 p.m., UW police say an officer saw a stolen car on Regent Street, and when the officer tried to stop the car, it took off, later crashing into the curb on Roby Road, just west of Camp Randall. Police say the 3 people inside the car ran away, and officers set up a perimeter, finally catching 2 of them near Babcock Drive on campus. 3 officers were minorly injured while chasing the teens. Mark Leviconte with UW Police says 9 times out of 10, these teenage suspects are stealing cars that are unlocked with the keys inside.
It oftentimes comes down to that. It's easy access. That's what these criminals are looking for. They're looking for a quick, easy way to get into a vehicle. The keys are right there. They take off. They go joyriding for a while. They ditch the car, and it's on to the next. And that's exactly what these guys were doing.
UW police say they released the suspects to Madison police as investigators there are trying to identify additional charges related to previous cases they were involved in. Another incident involving a stolen car happened just before 3 this morning in Fitchburg. 3 14-year-olds were arrested after Fitchburg officers say they led them on a chase that came to a stop under the Beltline on Park Street. All 3 teens were taken to the Juvenile Reception Center on multiple charges. So a lot of different incidents all at once.
Yeah, continuing problem
Yep.
we've seen for quite a while. Rose, thanks.
Thanks, Rose.
Madison Fire Department trying to alert local restaurants that a certain cooking technique triggered 2 fires at Madison restaurants in the spring. They say the oil used to make a tempura-like crunch when they're making sushi is likely behind it. They say the crunch is produced by a flour and water batter deep fried in cooking oil. They say when that crunch is placed in a bowl to cool, certain cooking oils can self-heat, creating the perfect conditions for a fire, which they say likely happened at Sumo Steakhouse on the east side and Takara on the west side earlier this year.
The prevention measures that we're coming up with is, 1, don't leave it unattended. Don't leave it overnight to cook. That is one thing that is pretty consistent with all the fires that we've had in Wisconsin, is that a lot of these happened after hours. Nobody was there to see it start smoking, start charring.
And those fires caused almost $600,000 in damage. Investigators identified 5 other Wisconsin restaurants as well that had similar fires. Let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Kidalty joining us from a very, very pleasant day on the weather patio. Gary?
Certainly is. Humidity levels are down, Eric, and while that will be the case for tomorrow, the temperatures already start to creep up, and then after that, the heat and humidity take hold by the weekend, and it now looks like we could be looking at a prolonged heat wave that could extend for much of the next 10 days. Visible cloud track, very little in the way of cloudiness around here. Doppler track, hardly a drop of rain to be found anywhere in the Midwest. A couple of sprinkles up in North Dakota is about the nearest precipitation of any consequence. Temperatures right now very comfortable. Cooler near Lake Michigan. Milwaukee right now only at 69 degrees. Madison's at 82. Temperatures upper 70s to low 80s through much of southern Wisconsin. Dew point temperatures are in the 50s, so it's very comfortable. By tomorrow morning, we'll start out in the upper 50s. Look for a high of 85 tomorrow at sunny skies, but again, the heat and humidity build for the weekend. That's my News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Bridge construction in downtown Janesville continues to be an issue for businesses along one of the city's main streets.
And now these stores are finding out that the bridge will be out even longer. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us live from the Milwaukee Street Bridge with what the DOT says is causing the delays. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, work started on the Milwaukee Street Bridge this past fall and by now was supposed to be completed. But as you can tell just by looking at it, the work is nowhere near done. And for the people who work on this side of the river, they say it can't be done soon enough. Judy Shumway has owned the Glass Garden for 21 years. Her art studio attracting students who want to try out a new hobby or longtime fans ready to work on the next project.
We teach stained glass, so they learn how to cut glass. That's always a fun thing. People realize how easy it is.
For almost its entire existence, the Glass Garden has been at its downtown location on Milwaukee Street, right in the heart of the city center.
I like downtown, the old vintage feel. You get a more relaxed atmosphere.
But these days, that atmosphere not quite as relaxed as construction continues on the Milwaukee Street Bridge.
I've had customers who I've seen out and about, and they'll say, yeah, I was there yesterday, but I couldn't find a parking spot, so I went back home.
The project going on now since last fall, and now delayed again until late October at the earliest. While the Department of Transportation chose not to do an on-camera interview, they released a written statement where they said severe weather in the fall, winter, and spring is to blame for the delays. For Shumway, things are starting to get a little frustrating.
I heard that they were supposed to be working 6 days a week, and I have not noticed that.
And as long as the bridge looks like this, business for her will continue to take a hit.
We have classes scheduled, but they're not going to fill.
The DOT says they're working to meet with the city and the subcontractor in charge of this project, a meeting where they say they hopefully can figure out a way to get done as soon as possible. Shumway says she hopes there's no more delays in this process.
Adam Duxter live in Janesville. Adam, thanks.
The UW System Board of Regents has voted to increase student fees and room and board costs for the upcoming school year. The regents approved the increases unanimously as part of the system's 2019-2020 operational budget today. Now, under this plan, student fees will increase an average of $36. That's all across the system, but UW-Madison students will face a $170 increase, the largest of any four-year school, bringing their total fees annually to just under $1,500. Students at every four-year school except UW-Milwaukee and UW River Falls will see room and board rates go up. Increases will range from about $20 at Stout to $258 in Madison.
A Madison postal worker reached out to us about what they say is a severe shortage of staff for the Postal Service in Madison.
The worker said many mail carriers are actually working 70-hour weeks at times, being denied some time off. And that problem is having a domino effect. Jamie Perez joins us now. She spoke with the mail carrier about it and how it could really affect all of us, Jamie.
Yeah, well, just think about how many mail routes there are in Madison. If there's a staffing shortage, that means all the mail carriers have to take on additional routes, which takes longer, meaning you might see your mail coming at later and later times. Now, this could be a problem for those who need their mail delivered at a certain time of day. The mail carrier that I spoke with wanted to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation, but they said they do love their job and they've been doing it for years, but the long hours, the lack of time off to spend with family is a problem, and it has been for quite some time now.
Of subs, the current subs that we do have are putting in 60 to 80 hours a week. Regulars are having to work their off days, not getting any vacation time. If we have appointments on our off days, we have to bring in doctor's excuses on our scheduled off day. They're saying they're having to work 13 out of 14 days.
We did reach out to USPS about these allegations. They did not directly answer our question of whether overtime was an issue, but they did tell me there are a lot of things that could impact delivery times and that they just had a, quote, successful job fair to fill in some vacancies. The Postal Service also said they're holding another job fair around Labor Day. The mail carrier that I spoke with said they do need more people to apply there. They said it's a great job to have, but the people who are there are getting a little bit burnt out with the lack of staff. And at 6, we'll actually hear from someone who says that they've noticed their mail being delivered at later and later times.
All right, Jamie Perez reporting. Jamie, thank you.
Democratic presidential candidates Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Beto O'Rourke, and Julian Castro are participating in a town hall in Milwaukee tonight. Each candidate will be on stage for 20 minutes. Immigration is expected to be a prominent topic. The candidates' appearance early in the campaign cycle highlights Wisconsin as a key toss-up state that Democrats want to reclaim. President Trump's victory in Wisconsin in 2016 marked the first time since 1984 that Republicans won the state in a presidential election.
50 years ago, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. It was July 20th, 1969, and returned safely to Earth 4 days later with the help of thousands, including ex-Navy SEAL frogman John Wolfram. Wolfram was the first person to greet Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins after their spacecraft had splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. A Fort Atkinson native, Wolfram spoke today at the Fort Atkinson Hoard Historical Museum on his experience in tending to that landing.
When I was standing in that helicopter door, ready to jump in the water, I knew that history was being made. I wanted to do my job well. I know the astronauts were dependent on our skills.
It was up to Wolfram to attach a sea anchor to the spacecraft to stabilize that capsule. Despite the shark-infested waters, Wolfram overcame his fears to save the astronauts. He is now viewed as a significant member of the recovery for his work. NBA's most valuable player is suing a Pennsylvania artist who is selling Greek freak merchandise. Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo registered his nickname with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office last year. His lawyers sent a cease and desist letter to Jinder Bogal in May. Bogal removed the Greek freak merchandise from his website, but not his Facebook page. And a complaint says Bogal's merchandise was misleading customers who thought it was affiliated with Giannis. He's now seeking all the profits Bogal gained from selling the merchandise and or $2 million for every counterfeit mark on the goods that were sold.
For 3 games this month, Madison's local baseball team is changing its name. The Wisconsin Cheese Curds will take the field at the Duck Pond for the first time ever tonight. Every Thursday in July, fans can come out to the Duck Pond and watch the Curds play ball. Players will be wearing new jerseys featuring a Cheese Curds logo and checkered sleeves. New merchandise will be available to fans as well, and you can bet there will be Cheese Curds to snack on. Each game, the team's chef will whip up 3 new options.
The biggest thing was we just wanted to try something new and different and continue to kind of push the envelope and have fun when we're out here.
Tonight's curd specials include a special take on the Philly cheesesteak and a Mediterranean-inspired wrap, full of curds, of course. Head to our website, channel3000.com, for tickets to tonight's Mallards game. Curds game. First pitch tonight at 6:35.
Always fun to mix things up just a little bit, More to come on News 3 Now. At 5 up next, southern states are preparing for some flooding. Tropical storm Barry is heading their way.
And then coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6, a Stoughton city ordinance is causing problems for a mother who wants to put up a fence to keep her children safe.
And on Wall Street, the Dow eclipses the 27,000 point, 228-point climb today. The NASDAQ gave back a half dozen. The S&P 500 added 7, and we will be right back.
President Trump invited Republican leaders and some conservative media organizations to the White House to hear concerns about so-called social media bias. Tech giants, including the heads of Facebook, Twitter, and Google, were not invited. President Trump has more than 60 million followers on Twitter, but he has accused the site of making it hard for supporters to follow him. In a tweet today, the president hinted at possible action against certain social media companies for dishonesty, bias, discrimination, and suppression, saying in part, we will not let them get away with it much longer.
A hurricane warning has been issued for parts of the Louisiana coast ahead of Tropical Storm Barry's arrival. The U.S. National Hurricane Center issued the warning this afternoon for the Louisiana coast from Intercoastal City to Grand Isle. A tropical storm warning is in effect for other areas, including the New Orleans metro area. While the storm gathers strength, the Flood Protection Authority has been closing the floodgates with the Mississippi at twice its normal high now. Crews are taking the unusual step of shutting more than 200 of those gates.
This could be torrential rainfall, heavy rainfall, in a quick burst that places go from dry to having flooding in just a very short time.
Please remain in your homes. Do not go out. Do not drive in flooded streets. Do not drive through standing water.
Forecasters say the storm is likely to become a Category 1 hurricane before making landfall Friday or early Saturday. And Gary has been watching it closely to see how it may affect our weather. Gary?
Yes, Eric, we have been watching it very closely because some of that moisture could bring thunderstorm chances that might temporarily break the heat in the middle of next week. It's now looking less likely that that's going to happen. Here's visible cloud track. You can see Barry's still kind of disorganized. The center of circulation here, most of the thunderstorms are ahead of the circulation. Eventually, they'll kind of surround the whole thing. Right now, it's a minimal tropical storm with maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, moving to the west at 5 miles per hour. Now, the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center strengthens it to just below hurricane strength by tomorrow, and then eventually to around hurricane strength as it makes landfall somewhere just to the east of Lafayette, Louisiana, and then eventually takes it northward, weakens it into a tropical depression, but that moisture continues to spread northward. But notice the bend that it's taking over toward the Ohio River. Yesterday, it looked like it might head more northward toward Wisconsin and give us at least some thunderstorm chances Wednesday and Thursday. It's now looking less likely that that's going to happen, but it is going to bring a lot of rain. Take a look at these rainfall amounts. This might be somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 inches in the New Orleans area as the center of circulation heads northward and then up toward the Ohio River, and perhaps as much as 4 or 5 inches into parts of western Tennessee and Kentucky. But again, most of that moisture will stay south of Wisconsin. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm on Wednesday and Thursday, and we're just going to bake because of that. Visible cloud track right now, plenty of sunshine around here, but the humidity levels are low, so it feels very comfortable. No rain anywhere around us for the time being, but we do have alert days in the forecast for Sunday through Sunday of the following weekend. I've never put that many alert days in the forecast, but it's because of hot and humid weather with heat index values that could be in the triple digits many of the afternoons and high humidity as well. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Clear skies there. The WISC Skycam looking out toward the east showing mostly sunny skies over Madison, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing mostly sunny skies as well. As we check out our almanac for today, our high temperature so far has been 82, the low 66. Right now we're still sitting at 82 degrees. Winds are out of the north at 7 miles per hour. That dew point temperature very comfortable at 55, but it'll be around 70 or above for much of next week. Temperatures right now upper 70s to the low to mid 80s through Wisconsin. To the west, it's a little warmer. Dew point temperatures low over Wisconsin, upper 40s to the middle 50s. Start to see an increase in moisture, some 60-degree dew points into Minnesota. Upper level winds right now from the northwest, so that keeps the moisture away. But you can see high pressures just out to the west of us. As that moves eastward, eventually our winds become a little more southerly. That cold front really won't bring much in the way of relief. Maybe a thunderstorm chance late tomorrow night into Saturday. But for the most part, it's the heat that's building out to the west of us, and it'll be heading in our direction. Lots of 90s you can see out to the west. Dew point temperatures 50s here, but notice how they start to increase into the mid 60s to around 70, even in as far north as North Dakota. And on future track, while our skies will stay sunny through tomorrow, that weak cold front might bring a chance for a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow night into Saturday. Saturday. Most of the time it'll be dry. And then after that, you can see the lack of precipitation around here, and the temperatures will just bake. So our forecast for tonight calls for mostly clear skies. It'll be comfortable, low temperature dropping to 58 degrees. For tomorrow, look for a mostly sunny day. Humidity level still not too bad. High temperature at 85, so it's starting to get a little warmer. As we look at future track, very little in the way of cloudiness over the next 48 hours. 58 for the low tomorrow night here in Madison. High temperatures tomorrow, middle 80s, lots of sunshine. Tomorrow night, again, that weak cold front may be generating an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Lows now in the mid-60s as a little more moisture comes through. Saturday, a chance for a shower or thunderstorms. Most people staying dry. Highs will be in the upper 80s, and then after that, here's the heat. 90 degrees Sunday. Low to mid 90s through all of next week and into the following weekend. Just a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm Wednesday or Thursday. It's possible we could stay dry for that entire period and just bake because of the heat. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, you can see the Beltline looking very slow in both directions at Fish Hatchery Road. There have been some traffic accidents in that area. Right now we're seeing delays eastbound on the Beltline beginning around West Broadway, going back to west of Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Todd Drive and head back to John Nolan Drive. 38 minutes on the eastbound trip from University Avenue to the interstate on the Beltline, 21 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, about normal times, 27 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990 from the Beltline, 21 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes on East Washington Avenue and US 151 at Sun Prairie. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, how Amazon is investing in its human employees by training them to work with artificial intelligence. That's next. It's a global leader in the use of artificial intelligence and robots, but the online giant is revealing how it plans to invest more than $700 million on its human workforce.
The company wants to provide 100,000 U.S. employees with new skills for the digital age. David Begnaud reports.
When you go to this 125,000 square foot Amazon facility right outside of Denver, it looks like robots are running the show. But behind these roughly 800 devices are skilled employees like Nicole Baer, who manages the daily flow of traffic as a floor control specialist.
This is where we follow the packages in real time.
Baer says more robots means higher package volume. And with that,
We need more associates to process our volume, not less.
we traveled to Amazon's Seattle headquarters to talk with its worldwide consumer CEO, Jeff Wilke, about how these programs are going to work.
Would you compare this to going to, I don't know, a university and 2 years of training? It's kind of like grad school.
And the program's names feel collegiate, like Machine Learning University for on-site training and Amazon Technical Academy for software engineer roles.
What do you need your employees to start doing with this training?
Creating great jobs means that people can have a career that's more than just the job they enter. We've deployed about 200,000 robots. At the same time, we've added 300,000 people.
As technology races forward, the number of companies investing in training their current employees will climb from 54% in 2018 to 84% by next year. That's according to a Manpower Group study.
Digital talent now is not a luxury anymore.
New York University business professor Ari Ginsberg says the so-called upskilling programs help companies retain their employees and keep recruiting costs down.
If you don't know how to manage the technology and incorporate it, you can fall behind very quickly.
As for Amazon, drones may soon be delivering your packages, but the company assures us humans are here to stay. David Begnaud, CBS News, Seattle.
And stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast when we return.
Here comes the heat. Nice tonight, though.
Yeah, very nice out there. Temperatures right now, low 80s here in Madison. Notice it is cooler in Lake Michigan, but when winds shift around to the southwest, even that lake breeze will go away. Dew point temperatures right now, mid-50s, very nice around here. High 85 tomorrow, little, not too humid, so not bad, but look at the alert days, all the way from Sunday through Sunday of the following weekend for highs in the low 90s and lows in the low 70s.
All right, more updates in 30 minutes. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.